Hi, we're on section 4.3, and today we are using our domain and our range to determine the linear equation. So let's take a look. We're on page 166. All right, starting with number 4, it says the table shows a familiar linear pattern for geometry. Write a linear function that will relate y to x, and what do the variables x and y represent? Okay, so let's take a look. Here we have our geometric shape. Here we have the height, and here we have the base. So then x, the base, as the base increases, the height increases, okay? And so from there we can make that determination. The next thing they want us to do is to write a linear equation as it relates to this. So in order to do that, we need to identify our slope and our y-intercept, okay? Now, in order to identify our slope, remember, we need our rise over our run. All right, and then we need for our y-intercept, what is y when x is 0, okay? And that will help us to determine our linear equation. So when we look at the difference in our y increases by 1. So that's our run. When we look at our rise increases by 2. So that's our rise is increasing by 2. Our run is increasing by 1, okay? So we have our slope. Now we need to determine our y-intercept. Well, we don't have a 0 here, so we need to create a 0, all right? So if we work in reverse, if we go back 1, we would get a 0, okay? And so therefore, if we go back 2, we would also get a 0, all right? So therefore, our y-intercept is 0. All right, and so for number 4, we discover that our linear equation function is y is equal to 2x, okay, after we simplify it, okay? Let's look at number 6. Number 6, they just gave us a graph. I went ahead and wrote out our x's and wrote out our y's, okay? They ask us to write a linear function based on just this information, all right? So let's do that. We need to, like we did before, create a linear function by identifying our slope and our y-intercept. Okay? Well, let's look at it. We can identify our y-intercept right here. When x is 0, y is negative 2. So we have that answer. Have our x. Now we need our rise over our run. That is the difference in our y's and the differences in our x's. So let's see. We go from 6 to 2. We went down by 4. Okay? If we go from 2 to 2, to negative 2, we went down by negative 4 again. And from negative 2 to negative 6, and negative 4 again. So our rise is negative 4. Let's see what our run is. Looks like our run is going up, because from negative 2 to negative 1, we increased by 3, okay? So that was a plus 3. And then from, this is number 6, then from, well, my fault, let's see. Sometimes I need to use a number line like everyone else. Negative 2 to negative 1, my fault, we went down by just 1. And here by 1. And here by 1. We increased by 1. So this is plus 1, okay? Trying to rush. I hear you all outside the door trying to get in the classroom, and it's throwing me off. All right, so here we go. So therefore, we have a negative 4x minus 2. That is our linear equation. And so there we are. Let's look at number 8. On number 8, we notice that we are increasing, okay? So we go from negative 1 to a negative 2 to negative 1 here. That's by 1, by 1, by 1, by 1. And it's going up, okay, in value. Here on number 8, we go from negative 4 to negative 2. So we increased, okay, and then by 2 here, we increase by 2, and here we increase by 2. So this is plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. So our rise is plus 2, our run is over 1, okay? And therefore our slope is here, our intercept is here. When x is 0, y is 0. So that's plus 0. So here we have y is equal to 2x for number 8, okay? Let's look at number 10. Number 10, same thing. From 3 to 0 is plus 3. 0 to 3 is plus 3. 3 to 6 is plus 3. So this is plus 3 for our run. Our y from 3 to 5 is negative 2. From 5 to 7 is negative 2. From 7 to 9 is negative 2. So we have negative 2 for our rise. Okay? So therefore, here we have a rise of negative 2, a run of 3x, and our slope, intercept when our x is 0 is here. So therefore, our intercept is 5, and that would make our equation complete. Okay? Here on number 12, they ask us to graph this. I don't think you have a problem graphing, so I'm not going to trouble myself with the graphing. However, we need information from here to determine our linear equation, just like we did over here. So the difference between 19 and 21 is 2. And the difference between 21 and 23 is also 2. So then our x is plus 2. All right, so we have 2, okay, in our run. Our rise, the difference between 10.2 and 9.8. When we take the difference there, that's 4. Okay? And then from 9.8 to 9.4. So here we have 0.4, here we have 0.4. Okay? So therefore, the difference between the two is 0.4. Okay? X. All right? And then the issue here now is, what is our y-intercept when x is 0? So what we would have to do in a case like this, we would need to graph and use our slope in order to find our y, okay? And so in this case, our y ultimately will be a positive, give me 1 second, it will be a positive 14, okay? If we were to plug it in, all right? And so what ends up happening, we would simplify. 0.4 divided by 2 will give us 0.2x plus 14. All right? That would be our equation. Okay? Now, from there, it asks what would the height be at 21.5? Well, we would plug it in our equation. 0.2 times 21.5 plus 14. Okay, and once we do that, we have a 10 here, that's 2, that's 3 here, that's 4 here, 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal point, plus 14. We will discover that 14 plus 4 is 18.3, and that's what y would be equal to for telling me I have an error here. Let me see where my error is. Hold on 1 second. My error is this is negative, because the numbers went down. That's my error, okay? This is negative, okay? This is negative, okay? So therefore, 14 minus 4.3, this is 10, this is 3, this is 7, and 13 take away 4 is going to be 9. And so that would be our answer, okay? All right, see you in the morning.